Viewers are going to think that I'm having vodka in this weather. They don't know that I'm having just hot water. Okay, are we ready?
Yeah, ready. Roll
Okay.
cameras. Rolling. Sound. Rolling. Action.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Pixel Village and I'm Radhakrishnan. In this video, we're going to talk about a technique which all photographers can put into use and create interesting looking images. An amateur photographer, professional photographer, why even a mobile phone photographer can use this to create interesting looking images. A disclaimer right at the outset is that we did not invent it, it was there. There is this photographer by the name Bernays who originally started using it, and he's the one who popularized it. It's also known as panorama portraiture photography. Okay, now into the technique. We buy these expensive lenses with wide openings is because we like the kind of bokeh that it creates at the wider openings of these lenses. As you know, a 200 mm at full open creates much wider, more pronounced bokeh with great compression than a 100 mm or an 85 mm or the 70 mm of those lenses. The thumb rule is longer the lens, the more pronounced the bokeh will be, and the effectiveness also will be much more. And as you go down towards a wider angle, there will be bokeh, but the effectiveness of the bokeh will reduce. There are a couple more things that will really affect the characteristics of the bokeh. One is the number of blades in your aperture, the aperture at which you're shooting, and of course, like I just said, the focal length in which you're shooting. So, what if you want to create a 200 mm like bokeh in a 35 mm like shot, meaning same bokeh like 200 mm in a wide angle shot? That's where Mr. Bernays comes into action. Let's also get out and do a shoot and show you how it is to be achieved. Off to the shoot. Ready. The next stage of the technique is performed using a computer. But before we go into that, I request you to please subscribe to our channel, of course, and hit that bell button so that you are constantly reminded of the video uploads, and our Insta page and our FB page. So we use Adobe Lightroom CC to put these images together because we shot them in RAW format. So for convenience, I have already shortlisted the images and I have imported them into one library. Now let me show you how the wide angle shot with a wide angle 24 mm lens full open looks like. So this is 24 mm shot at 2.8. Now look at the kind of bokeh that you're getting. More than the bokeh, it is the perspective difference, that is caused by the wide angle, which is actually defeating the whole purpose of, getting big, nice, huge, very pronounced bokeh in the backdrop. So what we did was we shot many images, multiple images in portions using a 200 mm lens at 2.8. And now what we're trying to do is to put them together using the features available in Lightroom. So select everything except that particular image, which is the wide angle shot, and right click, go to photo merge and say panorama. the software will open all those images, and using the internal algorithms, it'll try to put all those images where it actually belongs to. So we need to wait till it is done. Okay, so now the image is processed. We selected the raw files. Lightroom has put it together as one DNG file. So the advantage is that you can still work on these images. So if you had shot JPEG, well, the amount of possibility in correcting would be limited. So there are three options: perspective, cylindrical, and spherical. I'm going to go by what looks nice to me. For me, what is nice is the perspective one, because it has actually kept all my verticals perfectly well. Okay, now merge the image. It's going to merge the image. So let's wait for that process to complete. Okay, so after a long wait, the image is processed and it's ready. So if I double click and open it, you will actually see a huge file. The file size is 16,121 pixels by 23,920 pixels, which is like a lot of pixels. Now you can take this to the develop menu. What I'm going to do is to pick the crop tool. Okay, that's the cropped image. Now, when I enlarge it, I can actually see a crisp, clear image. And to give you an idea, I'd like to show the 24mm shot and the Pana shot side by side. So this is my 24mm shot. In this shot, if you look at, there is bokeh, but the lens characteristics actually distort the subject. One. Second is give you a much more exaggerated sense of depth, and the bokeh is not as great compared to this particular image. Now your subject is much larger, and look at the bokeh. It's amazing. Of course, you can argue that if you take the 200mm lens and go really back and compose it, you will get a similar image. I agree, yes, you will get a similar image, but your subject will not be this big in size, because in the event of you moving back sufficiently enough to cover the area to get an image like this, well, you would have got, well, with the camera that we use, you could have got a 24 megapixel image at best. So now you have a similar image, similar looking image, but many times bigger. You can use this, you can actually plaster the skies with it if you wish to, because there's so much information in it. Suppose if you don't have a Mac and you don't have Adobe Lightroom, and you still want to create it on a PC, you have another interesting software that you can work with, and that is called Microsoft Eyes. So let me show you how that works. We have a new member in our office. It's an Asus. We'll talk more about that later in another episode. Actually, it is worth another episode. Microsoft Eyes stand for Image Composite Editor. It's a free download. Download it from the Microsoft website, and it's a very straightforward software. Switch it on, and relatively simple window opens up. New panorama from images. Okay. Well, the interesting thing is that even Eyes accepts raw files for image processing, creating panorama. So let me select all the images. I say open, so it opens up all the images in the panel. The second is stitch together, for which I'm going to click next. When I say next, the software will pick all the images like the Lightroom did, will align the images and start compositing the images. Of course, we need to wait because we are trying to align and composite about 30 odd 24 megapixel images. All right, the process is done. and I'm going to crop straight in the computer itself. Okay, and I say next, and your cropped panorama is here. What is important is that you must definitely take images with minimum of about 10% overlapping. If you don't do it, you will end up with images like this. So, was it that simple? I think it is so simple that anyone can do it. Like I said, if you are someone with a mobile phone, shoot images on that portrait mode with fantastic bokeh in the backdrop and keep taking pictures with the focus locked on to your subject. Take as many pictures as possible with sufficient overlaps, bring it to eyes and create your interesting panorama portrait. You can also take not only portraits, lots of other interesting images too of your favorite bike, your cat, your whatever. Let the imagination run wild. Bye for now.